Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
And good afternoon once again. We're tracking the latest as registered sex offenders in 4 central Kentucky counties were checked in on today.
Right. Officers checked to see if registered sex offenders are following their court-designated guidelines. Most were compliant, but a handful of arrests were also made. WKYT's Victor Puente joins us now from Anderson County with our top story at 12:30. Victor?
This 4-county operation included dozens of different law enforcement agencies. The U.S. Marshals say working with local police and deputies has allowed them to check in on hundreds of registered sex offenders. This latest series of checks was titled Operation Whiskey River and included almost 140 sex offenders in Anderson, Mercer, Scott, and Woodford counties. While the majority of sex offenders were found to be compliant, there were a few arrests. 4 people at a sex offender's home were arrested on unrelated charges, including receiving stolen property, alcohol intoxication, flagrant non-support, and a probation violation. There were 2 warrants issued for noncompliance. One of those men has been arrested, but police are still searching for the other, 43-year-old David Larry Cross. He was last seen in Mercer County. One of the sheriffs who was here today said these checks were a high priority for his office.
Law enforcement are all on the same page, and when it comes to protecting our children, I don't know what more important responsibility that we have as law enforcement is to protect our kids.
In addition to the 2 warrants that were filed, 5 other sex offenders are being investigated for noncompliance. In Anderson County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Victor, thank you. Being a non-compliant sex offender is a Class D felony in the Commonwealth with a penalty of 1 to 5 years in prison.
A training drill was held in Lexington involving hazmat suits, but today's drill was different. The recent Ebola cases in Dallas have prompted the CDC to change their hazmat suit guidelines. So today, Lexington firefighters trained under the new guidelines for treating Ebola, which require no skin contact with patients. Simulating a possible Ebola patient here in Lexington put a new spin on this week's drill as they got suited up head to toe, but this was just a drill.
We're learning some new details today about a murder case out of Boone County. The information that's coming in is that William and Peggy Stevenson were found murdered in their Florence home in 2011, and no arrests have ever been made in the case. Now, the Boone County Sheriff's Office says the detectives have the genetic profile of the person responsible for the murder. They say they plan to continue their aggressive search for the Stevenson's killer.
A man accused of being drunk and crashing into a teenager has escaped. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says Terry Mullins was on home incarceration. He's facing assault and DUI charges. Last month, deputies say Mullins was drunk when he crashed his van into a 17-year-old who was riding a bike on US 25, that is. The teen suffered serious injuries.
We're continuing to track a Lexington gas station robbery this afternoon. It happened very early this morning, just about 3 o'clock at the Speedway off Winchester Road near I-75. Police say a masked man forced a customer to the ground at gunpoint and then made the clerk hand over cash. Police are reviewing surveillance video, but they say since the man had his face covered, it may be difficult to identify the suspect.
A man is in critical condition after jumping out of a moving car driven by his girlfriend. The Boyle County Sheriff's Office says the man, who's from Louisville, jumped out on US 150 near Perryville. He was flown to UK hospital. Deputies arrested the driver, Nancy Shook. She's charged with DUI.
In Harlan County, 5 people are facing charges after a big weekend burglary. State police arrested Jessica Middleton, Morgan Boggs, and 3 juveniles. Investigators say they stole more than $3,200 from the victim in the Loyal community of Harlan County. Police say they found a vehicle matching the description of the one that was used in the crime.
Well, your chances of winning the lottery are about to get a little better. Today, the Kentucky Lottery will announce the launch of the Monopoly Millionaires Club. Instead of focusing on large jackpots, the new lottery game looks to create a large number of millionaires with each draw. It's the first new multi-state game launch in 12 years.
Well, Apple Pay is launching today. Beginning today, you can use your iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus to buy items at more than 220,000 1,000 stores or inside apps. The payment system can be used by holding down a fingerprint sensor and pointing the phone at an Apple Pay device. But don't ditch your wallet just yet. Not all stores have the machines needed to read the phone. For now, Apple Pay is only on the iPhone 6 models.
Well, in case you missed it, Garth Brooks is coming to Lexington, and the city has now created a parking plan for all the anticipated chaos. The president of the Lexington Center says the country concerts could create more traffic trouble than usual events at Rupp Arena. City leaders say they'll open up an extra lot at the corner of Old Frankfort Pike and New Circle Road for the shows. LexTran will bus concert goers from the lot to Heritage Hall.
We've handled parking for big concerts before, NCAA tournaments, Sweet 16s, etc. It's been congested, it's been a challenge at times, but it's never been really a big deal. This one's going to be that big deal.
City leaders say the traffic will be more manageable, but it's still important for people coming to the concert to plan ahead. Those concerts right on top of each other.
That's right, and that's the issue. You know, one ends and those people try to leave and the others are trying to get in. So, yeah, pay attention and they'll try to have a plan.
Plan ahead, hope for the best.
Well, a new study shows parents frequently make mistakes when giving their children medicine.
And a new implant might mean that you can throw out your reading glasses. Ebony Williams has details in this Better Living report.
Tens of thousands of children every year are given the wrong medicine or an incorrect dose, according to a new study. Researchers at the Nationwide Children's Hospital in Ohio found a child is affected every 8 minutes. Doctors say mistakes are most commonly made with painkillers and fever reducers. New research finds women are more likely to develop anxiety and depression after a heart attack. Doctors say more research is needed to determine the reason. The World Health Organization predicts depression will be the second leading cause of disability and death in the coming years. And you may not need those reading glasses forever. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin are testing an implantable eye device that could replace reading glasses for 80% of people who use them now. The device is already available in Asia, Europe, and South America, but the FDA has not yet approved it for the U.S. That's a look at some of the day's top health stories. Ebony Williams, CBS News, New York.
Hey, it's so good to have you with us on WKYT News, and there's a lot more coming up. All the dogs in the neighborhood will gather for a tail-wagging good time this weekend. We'll tell you about the American Cancer Society's Bark for Life.
Also, a Kentucky pastor talks about his new book. Find out how you can get a copy tonight.
And the sounds of 10-year-old Presley Barker on this week's Wood Songs.
We have 2 showers out and about just south of the I-64 corridor, and that's moving southeast. Then we're going to have the actual front roll through later on tonight. It's still backed up north of the river. I'll show you that forecast, what you can expect out of that front, coming up next.